Thank you, Tamika, and welcome to tonight's edition of the Regional News. We start with some news in the aviation sector where Caribbean Airlines CAL has added a service that will connect both its Guyanese and Cuban markets. The regional carrier announced in a press release that on Saturday, November 21, it launched a once-per-week connected service between the Chedijagan International Airport in Guyana and Jose Marti International in the Cuban capital of Havana. CAL also advised its potential and actual passengers of the requirements to enter Cuba in light of the COVID-19 pandemic. And I quote, "All passengers must fill out a health declaration form before checking in for your flight to Cuba. It is recommended to bring a printed copy of this form once completed," end of quote, the CAL issued release stated. Cuba has implemented a health tax that is relevant to mandatory PCR testing upon arrival of the customer into Cuba. The tax is $30. All customers will be subject to PCR testing upon arrival into Cuba, hence the tax, as well as quarantine, self-isolation, or government facility, as the authorities see it fit for 7 days. Cuba mandates the wearing of masks at all times if persons venture into public space, and as such, passengers must also wear the appropriate face masks. We now turn our attention to Argentina. The country's Diego Maradona, one of the world's greatest ever soccer players, was buried on Thursday amid a global outpouring of grief from fans across the world. The death of Maradona at the age of 60 on Wednesday, following a heart attack, has sparked both mourning and celebrations of a true sporting star who was a genius on the soccer field but lived a life marred by struggles with addiction. In a day of high emotion, the World Cup winner was taken by a horse late on Thursday to the Bella Vista Cemetery, where his parents are also interred, for a small private ceremony of his family and close friends. Earlier, there were clashes between police and fans as spectators clambered up the palace gates to get as close as possible to their hero. In Italy, crowds tied hundreds of blue and white scarves to the railing outside his former club, Napoli, while in France, popular sports papers' front page blared out, "God is dead." And finally, on the international scene, Carnival Cruise Line has canceled additional cruises from the United States for the first month of 2021. This following an advisory against cruise travel from the U.S.-based Centers for Disease Control, CDC. Carnival said in a press release that their decision will affect all embarkations from U.S. home ports from January 1 to 31 and all embarkations on Carnival Legend out of Tampa through March 26. The cancellation will also affect embarkations from Baltimore, Charleston, Jacksonville, Long Beach, Mobile, New Orleans, and San Diego through February 28. Carnival had previously canceled certain other itineraries on 4 ships, Magic Paradise, Velour, and Victory Radiance, that are scheduled for required dry docks in the first half of 2021, with a plan to return them to operations after maintenance work and upgrades are completed. 16 Carnival ships are currently following the CDC process for an eventual resumption of guest service in the U.S. in 2021, including Carnival Conquest, Dream, Ecstasy, Elation, Freedom, Glory, Liberty, Miracle, Panora, Pride, Sunrise, Sunshine, among others, which is under construction in Finland, will also enter service in 2021. And that is it for our region news this evening. And I continue to urge our viewers to stay indoors, wear those masks, use those hand sanitizers, and continue practicing the social distancing. Do have a good weekend. Back to you, Tamika.